Okay, hello everybody, it me Scoop. Give me 2 seconds here to make sure that this is actually live and working. Please? Please? You've been giving me technical difficulty. Hello? Yes, we're good. We did it. Oh my lord. Okay, hold on. So we got that going. Let's close all that. Let's get the TikTok live going. Yes, go live. Okay, let me pull up the TikTok on the phone and make sure we're live on there. I don't know. It says we're live. I think it's working. I think we're good. I don't know how to see from my own TikTok account if I'm live. So we're just going to pray and hope that that's up. Great. Awesome. All right, hold on. So I'm going to keep the TikTok stream on my second monitor, and I'm going to keep my stream live on my phone so I can watch both chats side by side. It's a bit of a jank setup, but it works. It just works. So this is going to be a long one. We have a lot of movies to get through, a lot of stuff to try. I'm really nervous I'm not live on TikTok right now, I gotta be honest. You know what, there's one thing I can do to check that. Hold on, give me a second here. Just wanna make sure we get all the technical difficulties out of the way. And then, no, okay, we are in fact live on TikTok. Okay, cool, awesome. First time doing that for real and actually having it work, which is even better. So that's awesome. Okay. Yeah, let's just get right into it. So, the worst movie of 2025. We have 30. I gotta reload this list. I've been on a grind, and I'm not signed in, because why would I be? And it doesn't remember my username or password either, because why would it? I don't know my own password for this. Nope, that's not it. Dude, I have run into truly every technical difficulty under the sun trying to get this stream up and running. I can't with this. I think it was that. Oh my god. All right, checking the passwords app on my phone. I can't with this, bro. I've been trying to get this stream up for like 45 straight minutes, and it hasn't want to work. That's what I just did. Hallelujah. Okay. All 37 movies I saw this year. That's a lot of movies. I was at the cinema many a day, many a time, many a place. All right. So, I mean, you can see the whole ranking here. We're really not trying to, like, not spoil anything or nothing like that. But here we have The Monkey. 1 star. And I'm going to hold firm to my 1 star. Because you know what? This movie's tagline, okay, let's not do that. Everybody dies, and that's fucked up. That is the best way to summarize this entire movie. You don't even have to watch the movie. You can just read that tagline and you pretty much got all of the value that this movie has to offer. This movie is unbelievably atrocious. I really see, like, some of my friends here are like, it wasn't that bad, you know. Some of you need to learn how to have fun. All right, Jason, not to air out your dirty laundry, Jason, but I hate this movie with a burning passion. This was one of the first movies I saw of the year. First one on this list, actually, because it came out in early February. I think January was just dry. I think it was just all dry, and I was not watching anything in theaters in January. And I went to see this movie, and I was kind of excited. I actually loved Longlegs. Longlegs was one of my top movies of last year, number 6. I think that holds up pretty well. It's in that area. I think Longlegs is phenomenal. So Osgood Perkins back at it again in his bag. I was kind of excited. But the best way I can describe this movie is that it's essentially an hour and a half of that joke from The Boys where a character just explodes and their blood goes all over everybody, and all the characters just look at each other and they're like, that was crazy. And it's like, it's just an hour and a half of that. And it's like, oh my God. Well, I beg for this movie to be over as soon as humanly possible. Jesus Lord. There's really not that much to say about it. Like, Theo James is doing all right. He's doing like the dual role as both protagonists. It was big year for that. A lot of dual roles. He's not particularly good. I really hate absurdist movies like this because there's just no like logic or rhyme or reason behind why anybody does what they do or say what they say. Like, the characters just have weird reactions to everything, and they choose really weird like actions to take with the info they're presented with. And when that happens, the movie has just completely lost me because I can't wrap my head around why anyone likes movies like that. Because if you can't really understand why anyone's doing what they're doing or saying what they're saying, genuinely, what is there to enjoy about the movie? I mean, sure, you could say the music or the cinematography, but in The Monkey, You're here for the music and the cinematography? I think not. So 1 star, worst movie of the year. No, don't do that. 1 star, worst movie of the year, The Monkey. And also, all I can think of is Master Uguay. Welcome, user. That's many numbers there. How you doing, buddy? Thank you for joining. Master Uguay. Nope. Okay. You know what? Never mind. It's over. I just picture him going, monkey. So yeah, second worst movie of the year. Him. I actually just watched this one. 1.5 stars. Sticking by that because, like I said, I literally just watched this the other day. Oh boy. So I missed this one in theaters. I just watched it on Peacock. It just got there. I did not miss much in theaters, clearly. Haunting, 1.5 stars. Football, I guess. These are all valid. See, this movie's weird. What's up, Trin and Ethan? How you guys doing? Thank you for being here. Let me know if you've seen Don't Defame One Battle After Another. Ooh, we're going to get to One Battle After Another. That's many movies away, luckily. It's pretty high on the list. Not the high. It could, there's a lot above it, but we're going to get there. But him, this movie is weird. I knew it was suspicious when it was written and directed by Justin Tipping, and yet Jordan Peele's name plastered all over this. So yeah, Jordan Peele was all over this movie, and that was pretty suspicious because he's not really involved with it. He was kind of just a producer. Now, obviously, that gets people's butts in seats, which is good, but this just didn't feel like a Jordan Peele movie. I mean, sure, they named it one word. They named it him. That's pretty Jordan Peele-y, but like, oh man, this is not good. You know, and it has like the Jordan Peele vibe. It's like a little bit of mystery, a little bit of mystical or Satan supernatural, whatever you want to call it. Like that element was there, but oh boy, is this movie a mess. So essentially you have this guy Cam, and he wants to be the GOAT. He wants to be the greatest football player of all time, but Marlon Wayans is currently the GOAT, but the GOAT's got to retire. So Cam is essentially being like bred or groomed. Nope, don't like either of those words, but to be the next GOAT. Marlon Wayans is going to train him. He's going to make him the next best ever. So he takes him to like his football facility, and just weird shit starts going on, and oh my god, it is just a catastrophe of a movie. It really doesn't make much sense because the inciting incident of him is that some random guy in a bunny suit like sledgehammers Cam in the face after like some other weird shit already went on, like the football just kept spinning, kind of like the shoe from Nope. Hello, JST and Lori. Thank you guys for joining. Let me know if you have any thoughts on these movies. Here to talk about them, ranking and reviewing every 2025 movie I've seen. So we're on number 2. We're at him, 1.5 stars. Yeah, so Cam comes to this facility, and it's a lot like The Monkey. It's just kind of nonsense. Like, everybody is acting insane all the time, and you just kind of have to wonder, what's up, Lori? Yeah, I'm on your FYP because I'm a niche internet micro celebrity. That's just what I'm up to. How you doing? I don't know. Stop. My phone keeps connecting to my laptop, and it's pissing me off. So it's just there's like a satanic ritual going on. The end of the movie doesn't make any fucking sense. You know that the movie is ass when the poster and the last shot of the trailer is also the last shot of the movie. The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I gotta pull this up. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 trailer. We learned this back in 2014. Never make the last shot of your trailer the same as the last shot of the movie. Can I just get the trailer? What is going on here? This is what I get for using DuckDuckGo. Okay, here we go. Someone humble this guy. No. So the ending shot of this trailer is Spider-Man fighting the Rhino. No, this is the wrong one. But maybe this one, trailer number 2. This happened. I swear to God, I'm not making this up. Yeah, here it is. This is the ending of the movie. Well, let me mute that so I don't get like copyright or something. You can't end your movie and your trailer on the same note because it implies you're going to see what comes next and you're going to get the proper context. But in this movie, you don't see what comes next because it's the very ending. And you don't even get the context. They don't explain jack fuck squat about what the cult is or what they're doing. The most you get is that like there's one goat of football, and the current goat has to have the blood of all the other goats, but like there's the one original goat or something. They just keep using the word goat, and it doesn't make sense because it's greatest of all time, not current best player. But whatever, man. Fuck that movie. It's terrible. Third place. What's up, honey? Welcome to the stream. Thank you for being here. Third place, third worst of the year. We have Five Nights at Freddy's 2. 5-star movie, of course. Now, this is the type of movie where I gave it 5 stars because I had such a great time in the theater. It's when I rank these movies, it's not even like flat out quality. Like, of course, Frankenstein is a better movie than Superman. It's just like, oh man, I loved Superman so much. Like, how much I enjoyed watching it. So it really doesn't belong this low on the list. This is really the only one I went for like genuine quality. And the fact that it's not the worst on the list is kind of fucking wild. But it's just, it's so hard to talk about this movie because the dialogue is genuine. Like, it is just nonsense. Scott Cawthon, the creator of the games, wrote the movie himself. They didn't give him a partner this time. Dear Lord, was that a mistake, because this guy doesn't know how to write. He's not a writer. Like, he's a game maker, like a solo game dev. So him writing a movie is wild. I took a screenwriting course this semester, and we read 2 textbooks on screenwriting, like read the whole book. And I know one of them is like the most default skin screenwriting books. It's called Save the Cat, if you've never heard of it. Highly recommend if you have any interest in scripts or screenwriting. It is really easy to read. Like, you can work through this shit really fast, and it is really fascinating. It breaks down the whole process. I know Scott Cawthon was supposed to write this movie, and he just picked up a copy of Save the Cat and like didn't really think about it too much, because he hits every beat in Save the Cat like to the T, to the point where I was actually giggling in the theater a little bit. Like, the first time you see Abby, the little sister in this movie, see, the rule of Save the Cat is like, make us care about your protagonist. Have them help somebody or do something nice that gets us on their side. Subtle, but like important right off the bat. So the first time we see Abby, some kid like drops their books everywhere, and Abby runs over and picks up all the books. And the characters look at her and like, wow, isn't Abby the best? And I'm like, yeah, she did it. She saved the cat. Anyway, the movie's a mess. I did literally start giggling in the theater when Michael Afton showed up, and somebody calls him Mike. Hold on. Michael Afton, FNAF 2 movie. His haircut in this movie, by the way, they matched it to that. Yeah, here he is. I don't know what look, they actually got that. They figured out how to get that, whatever that friggin' haircut is, and copy it into live action, which is perfect. This guy shows up, and someone calls him Mike, and he goes, actually, it's Michael. And I started laughing. So that was like one of the greatest moments I had all year in theaters. So yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 movie, 5 stars. 40 Acres in fourth to last place. This is a great example of a 2-star movie. To me, a 1-star is like, oh, that's a catastrophe. 2-star is like, that was pretty bad. Like, that was not a good movie. This was one of the first movies I saw this year. I think it was around late March, excuse me. I saw it at like an AMC Screen Unseen, which is where they don't tell you the movie. You just go and they like surprise you with an early screening. It wasn't atrocious. I saw All Those Barrels. This is cinema. Oh, Kate. I'll take from my friend Kate there. But this is like, there's nothing that bad about the movie on any technical level. Like, the writing is fine. It actually looked pretty good. The performances were like pretty good. It's just, the story here is really boring. There's like a big opening text crawl explaining how the world ended due to like a blight or something. And this family has like a nice big farm that they're trying to survive on. There's like people coming by to like rob them and steal the farm and all that stuff, and they have to defend it. And the son ends up meeting a girl, and like the girl causes a bunch of chaos on the farm, like not intentionally. It's kind of just a bog standard like end of the world story, like, oh, when the world ends, you're gonna lock yourself away and you can't trust any other people because all people are evil. And like, I don't know. The only thing this was a very forgettable movie, which is also a big part of being a 2-star movie, is I watch it and immediately I don't care anymore. I remember I came home and I was trying to explain the plot to my mom, and like one of the big inciting incidents is going to find their neighbor, I think, like one of their friends over the radio. And I recited like the whole plot of the movie to my mom, explaining why it didn't make sense. And then at the end of the plot, she goes, wait, but did they find the neighbor? And that was the first moment I realized they just kind of forgot. Like, they set out and leave their farm to go find the neighbor. And I think that plot line is just completely dropped. Like, there's just weird shit like that. The movie's just kind of boring and not very well assembled. I don't know. Very nothing burger of a movie. Definitely don't recommend that one. But yeah, now that we're past Five Nights at Freddy's 2, we're in the very bland era. Like, all of these upcoming movies were just kind of not that good. Jurassic World Rebirth, 2 stars again. I have a full video on this one. I covered it alongside F1 because I saw the 2 back-to-back. They were both these big summer blockbusters, and I think they're very interesting. Welcome. We have a lot of people watching right now. What's up, Aaron? Crypto the Golden. Thank you guys for being here. If you have any thoughts on these movies, drop them down. We can discuss. But yeah, Sorry. So Jurassic World Rebirth did a video on this in F1. This is like when people make fun of like mid-ass summer blockbusters, it's literally just this movie where the plot is like, it makes sense. Like there's no like giant plot holes or any buffoonery going on. It's just really uninteresting and like nothing you've ever, it's like everything you've seen before just done again. The acting is like not great. It doesn't look particularly good. Like it's just very mid, bleh, meh, all those words type movie. Like I can barely remember anything about it, which especially for a movie I've already done a video on is pretty bad. Teddy's like shaking around in the background. So if you guys want more thoughts on this, go watch the F1 Jurassic World video. I go pretty in depth there. It's just, once again, like really nothing to appreciate about this movie. It really just is. It very much is a movie that I did see. The Electric State, also just watched this one. Biggest flop in cinematic history. Good job, Russo brothers. How you go from the the highest grossing movie of all time to the biggest flop of all time? I don't know, man. I think that's pretty impressive. Teddy, can you like not scratch on the door, please? Thank you, buddy. Stop doing that, phone. Thank you. There's, once again, great example of a 2-star movie. This movie was just slaughtered when it came out, so I didn't even bother watching it because I saw half of the movie on freaking Twitter anyway, like clip by clip, and it was just obviously nothing good about it, and I was already watching so many movies, I was like, I don't really need to bother with this. I figured I'd check it out. Biggest flop of all time. Should probably watch it, stick it on this list. I'm glad I did for that perspective, but it really wasn't that bad. Like, it was kind of just fine, very similar to Jurassic Park in that it's not like a stupid movie. Like, it doesn't not make sense. It doesn't have like a bajillion and one plot holes. It's not like super ugly or anything. It's just very uninteresting. The villain of this movie is played by Stanley Tucci. He is hilarious. I think there's like one part where Giancarlo Esposito comes up to him, and Esposito is basically like, "You seem like you're kind of evil," and Stanley Tucci literally just looks at him dead in the face. Stop doing that, phone. I swear to God, bro. I don't understand what is signaling my phone to connect to my laptop to make this fucking ding noise. Stanley Tucci just looks at him and is like, "Who gives a shit?" And I started giggling pretty hard. And then also this big robot here, Herm. He was actually a pretty good character. Like, I thought he was funny. I thought his actor did a good job. He had some good dialogue. Like, not that I'm trying to fish for compliments for the Electric State to be like, not a naysayer, contrarian, be like, actually, the biggest box office flop of all time is not that bad. Like, it's just a very mid movie, and the fact it had like a $500 million budget or whatever is just absolutely fucking mind-blowing. I don't know why or how the Russo brothers keep getting these huge budgets just to do nothing with them and generate like slot movies, but gotta respect the hustle, gotta respect how beefy their bank accounts are. Moving on, we have one step above the Electric State. I should also mention, like, these 3 movies are all the same. Like, it's really not, the Electric, actually no, Captain America is probably better than these 2. These are about even. Like, it might even just be recency bias that I put the Electric State above Jurassic World. I was really, my eyes like glazed over during Jurassic World. The Electric State I watched in like 2 sittings, which might have helped, but generally, like, it wasn't that atrocious. But yeah, Captain America, this I also watched in 2 sittings. Didn't see it in theaters because I watched half of it on Twitter the day it came out. I woke up in the morning and the entire movie was on my Twitter feed in really like shockingly high quality. And I sat there and I watched like the first 25 minutes and I was like, wow, this is fucking boring. And then I skipped to like the last 20 minutes and watched the fight with Red Hulk. And then that was it. I didn't need to see the movie. I felt like that was enough. None of my friends wanted to go see it. I just skipped it. And then it came to Disney Plus, so I figured I'd watch the whole thing in proper quality. I just got a big notification on TikTok chat. I don't really understand what it means, but thank you for whatever that notification was. Anyway, yeah. This one was really rough. You got to feel bad for Anthony Mackie in this situation. When in 2019 he became the new Captain America, and since then he's had 2 appearances, and one of them was in this garbage movie where like he had Falcon and Winter Soldier, which was actually really good. I have a really old review on that that you could go check out if you're interested. I thought Falcon and Winter Soldier was pretty solid. I rewatched a few episodes before this movie, and it holds up pretty well outside of the finale, which seems to be the thing with every Marvel show. But anyway, he got that show and he got this movie, and that's just so unfortunate, especially because they keep spamming Captain Carter. They gave Captain Carter like the Captain Carter Infinity helmet, whatever it was. Hold on. What was it? This. What is this? They gave her the fucking Ultron Infinity Gauntlet armor and Hela's sword and her helmet and the vibranium shield. Oh my god, dude. Holy fan fiction. This was like, I don't know. I don't know. Anthony Mackie deserves so much better. Like, he's actually very good in the role. He's very charismatic. He seems to care about it a lot, and Marvel just snubs him constantly. This movie was reshot like 4 times over, and you can tell because it doesn't really make that much sense, and the pacing is god awful. Like, some scenes in this movie look really good and have great lighting, and like the camera work is pretty solid, and then other scenes are just like gray slop where like the entire thing looks like it's CGI and the camera is perfectly still, and it's just really boring, and the editing's all choppy. Like, yeah, you really just gotta feel bad for Anthony Mackie. There's really not much to say here. This is like, when people think back to like the multiverse saga and how mid as fuck it was, like, this is gonna be movie number 1 that gets the bad rap, because like, man, this was tough. Okay, hot take coming in here. Hot take: Eddington, 2 stars. Sorry, someone's like drilling outside. I really hope that's not annoying. I don't have any control over that, unfortunately, which is nice. Is my YouTube stream down? What's going on here? Oh no, we're good. I don't know what this is, but okay. It says on my phone that it's fine. Okay, what the fuck is going on? Anyway, Eddington. First hot take of this. I made a full video on Eddington, so if you want very detailed thoughts, you can go check that out as well. To recap, Ari Aster. Okay, so Ari Aster's movies, if you don't know, wow, there's a lot of stuff on here. It's really Midsommar, Hereditary, Beau is Afraid, and Eddington. Hereditary is spectacular. I'm not going to deny that. Midsommar is one of those rare movies where, like, I really didn't like it, but like, I respect it. Like, if people say, oh, Midsommar was great, I loved it, like, I'm really not going to argue with them. I think it's pretty good. It's just, personally, I don't know. Beau is Afraid. You will not trick me into watching Beau is Afraid. This movie's like 3 hours long. And to spoil the ending a little bit here, the ending is that his dad is like a giant penis monster or something, and just, I'm not doing that, man. I do not care. So I'm kind of 50-50 on him. So going into Eddington, I was like very curious to see what he was going to do. And like, oh man, this movie sucks, bro. I'm trying to remember what I really didn't like and what I spoke about in the video. The main point was that, similar to The Monkey, it's very absurdist to the point where, like, I don't understand why these people are so insane about like everything. The only sane character is Pedro Pascal, which is kind of interesting in a way, because he is the mayor. Like, the guy trying to keep order is the only one I think would be capable of keeping order in town. And then, I guess, spoilers for Eddington. The movie only gets interesting when Joaquin Phoenix shoots him in the face at the end of the movie. And then once that happens, I did the seat activation. This one. I did this in the theater. Hold on, where is it? Yeah. He shoots Pedro Pascal, and I went, okay, this is interesting now. Let's see where this is going. And then the movie took like 4 different plot twists. Like, Antifa showed up and they chased this guy like through the streets. And then they blew up the other cop, like in the middle of the woods. And I was just like, what is going on, bro? Like, I don't know. It just has nothing interesting to say about the pandemic. Like, we all just lived through it. Hindsight is 2020. It's only 2025. Like, it hasn't been that long. We all remember what happened. And I feel like there's nothing specific about this town in New Mexico that I think is like super interesting and really, this is a great look back on COVID and what was so interesting about this. Like, no, I don't know, man. I don't know if it wasn't for me, or I just generally, I didn't think it was very good. I can't imagine people coming out of this and loving it or anything. I guess I respect how insane it gets, but like, no, man, bad movie. Really not a fan. Like I said, you can go watch the full video for more detailed thoughts on that. Death of a Unicorn, another one I actually did do a video on. So we've gone up from 2 stars to 2.5 stars. Once again, this is a perfect example of a 2.5 star movie. So 1 star, Garbage, atrocious. 2-star, that was bad. I'm going to forget about it the minute I left the theater. 2.5 stars, just a sliver above that 2-star. Because 3 stars, like, good movie. I liked it, would watch it again. This is like, it wasn't bad. It was just a little forgettable. Like, this is the type of movie where in like 4 years, I'm going to throw this on in the background on Peacock or whatever and like not really pay attention to it. Because like, it's some good background noise. There's like a scene or two I enjoyed, a funny joke here or there, but overall, it just didn't get all that interesting. It has a crazy cast. Like, I didn't understand why this A24 movie dropped with such a good cast and nobody gave a single shit when that happened. I mean, you have Will Poulter, Paul Rudd, Jenna Ortega. This lady's a big actress too. It doesn't. There's got to be. Can I see the actors in it? But like, you can see like there's kind of a consensus because my friends tend to give very differing reviews, and here it's 2-star, 2-star. I'm pretty sure that was like similar to 2-star, even if it's unnumbered. Like, once again, full video on it if you want in-depth thoughts. The thing with these lower tier movies is that because I watched them so long ago, and the reason like they're rated this low is because I just can't remember much about them. I thought Will Poulter was like a big standout for this movie though, and I thought Paul Rudd was like a little annoying, and I really just don't like Jenna Ortega. It just wasn't very strong. Nothing super exciting. Moving on, step above that, we have Ballerina. Once again, great example of a 2.5 star movie. Like, this is definitely a step up from Death of a Unicorn. Probably won't rewatch it because it is mostly action. The action's pretty good, but like the story is minimal, and there's just only so much you can take of like people shooting each other in the face and like fighting and punching each other. What is the runtime in this one? 2 hours and 4 minutes. It's 2 hours of a lot of gunfire. Like this, I was glad I watched it in the theater. The sound is something going on in my garage. This, like, the sound design in this movie is really good. Like, all the effects and the punches and everything are nice and big and punchy. Sorry, there's like work going on and my dog is freaking out a little bit. Like, it's a very well put together movie. It looks pretty good. The performances are like fine enough. Nobody's doing a particularly bad job. The story's fine enough. There are no giant plot holes, no big nonsense buffoonery going on once again. Also, I have the wrong background. I was on the wrong tab. That is awkward. There we go. Sorry, YouTube. You guys had some, I don't know, Halo background instead of the proper Scoop Reviews background. Anyway, yeah, this one is like, this is a very definition of 2.5 star because there's really nothing to say about it, which is why I didn't do a video. I mean, I saw it in the middle of the summer. I had plenty of time. I really just like, I think the intro was actually really good. The guy who plays Diego in The Umbrella Academy was really, really good in the intro. I liked him, like seeing him in a big movie was happy because that's a pretty good actor. Yeah, really not much to say. Ana de Armas was like, she was very fine. She kind of just has this facial expression for most of the movie. There's not much in the way of like a super meaty performance here or anything. I don't know, man, mid-ass movie. The Smashing Machine. Okay, this is one I didn't do a video on, but I actually did have a lot to say about it. I just didn't have the time to push one out at the time. Saw this somewhat recently. It didn't come out too many months ago. It wasn't terrible. It was, what's interesting is this is like a messy movie where like there's some hot, Teddy, you gotta chill, buddy. You gotta stop. There's some good highs in this movie and there are some low lows of this movie, which is what makes it so interesting. So Mark Kerr is the main character here. UFC legend Mark Kerr. Teddy, come on, buddy. Stop. He's not even making dog noises. He's just like squeaking. What? No, you can't go outside. Stop it. Play with your little alpaca. So Mark Kerr is like, he's like this weird man-child. Towards the opening of the movie, there's something about how like he's being interviewed, and the interview is basically like, you never lose. Like, what happens when you enter the ring? What do you say to yourself? He's like, the thought of losing doesn't even enter my mind. It's almost like that line in Marty Supreme. Not that I've seen Marty Supreme, in the Marty Supreme trailer, at least. And I just think what's really interesting is that as a UFC fighter, like that's kind of a bar, that's kind of a cool mentality to have. But you see as a man, like that really is his philosophy. The idea of losing doesn't enter his mind no matter how minor it is. Like, he goes to a carnival with his wife, Emily Blunt, and Emily Blunt wants to ride the spinny ride where you get like forced up on the wall or whatever. And he's like, oh, my tummy. Because he's like a man. He's like a weird, quiet little man child when he's on there. He's like, I can't do that ride. My tummy hurts. It's going to give me a tummy ache. And so Emily Blunt's like, okay, admit it. Like, you're scared of the ride. You won't do it. He's like, no, I'm not scared of the ride. I just, realistically, it's not a good idea. I can't go on the ride. And there's a lot of moments like that there's nothing really happening, but it's just kind of interesting to watch this guy and be like, how did you make it this far? Like, you can't lose in any remote sense of the word, and it's like, that's just so unhealthy. So it's interesting to follow him from that perspective. I think where the movie loses you is when he starts going down like the drug abuse route, where it's like he's addicted to all this stuff, and the movie's just a little too simple for that. Like, it doesn't get very complicated. It kind of just makes him. It's very one-dimensional and uninteresting, and it just, because he's such a man-child, he can be kind of hard to watch. Like, especially when he gets sober afterwards. Him and Emily Blunt like goes to get margaritas with her friend out of the house, and when she comes home, he's like, how do you think that makes me feel knowing you were out drinking when I'm a recovering addict? And she rightfully like dogs on him for being the fucking worst. It's a weird movie because Dwayne Johnson is doing a good job and the character is like technically well written and consistent. It just gets kind of hard to watch, not in like the good way, in a way where it's like, God, this guy is so fucking annoying. Like, I'm kind of ready for this movie to be over. So for most of it, it was pretty solid, I would say. It's just, there's a few moments with Mark where he's just a little difficult to watch, a little annoying. And I think the big issue is there's not really an ending. Like, it doesn't feel like with a movie, you're supposed to be watching like the most important part of the character's entire life. And here, it just feels like we kind of speed ran the most important huge chunk of his life that doesn't really come to any conclusion. Like, the movie just kind of ends and it's like, oh, all right, cool. And that type of ending is really unfortunate because it's one of those things where you just kind of forget about the movie when it's over because it doesn't leave any lasting impression on you. It just ends and you leave the theater and you're like, oh, okay. So it just immediately leaves your consciousness. And that's always like kind of a tough feeling. Luckily, the movie's pretty short. Like, it's the type of movie where I would say, like, give it a chance. You might like it. I don't highly recommend it, but it's definitely not atrocious. It's just like, could be good to throw in the background if you find it on a streaming service. Definitely, I see why nobody went to the theater to see it. Word of mouth was definitely not good enough for that. And I think probably the movie's biggest overall failure is that the third act is all about Mark Kerr and his friend, like his best friend / trainer. They both enter the same like tournament. And the question essentially becomes like, are they going to have to fight each other in the finale? Like, how's that going to go? Is one going to sell for the other? Like, what's going to happen here? And what's weird is that Mark doesn't make it to the finals. He loses before that. And then he kind of just has to watch his friend like win it all. And again, that could be interesting, but in terms of his character, like nothing about that really lines up. Like, I don't think he gets this big release at the end that he needed where he finally accepts. You just lose sometimes. Like, some things are out of your control, or you can just admit to yourself you've lost and move on. You don't really get that relief for his character or for you as the viewer watching him on this journey, and I feel like that's kind of the big misstep here. So not atrocious, but really not great. Shelby Oaks, oh boy, right above, this is definitely above The Smashing Machine, I would say, because there were some good highs here as well. Oh, also, Emily Blunt's performance, incredible in this movie. Oh my God, it's so good. The Rock is definitely, he's not doing a bad job, it's just her character is so explosive, and his is so tame most of the time. So the two of them side by side is like a little odd, and it makes it feel like she's out acting him when they're really both doing equal jobs. It's just she has a lot more to work with, and she's amazing. But yeah, moving up a step up from that, we have Shelby Oaks. This one was so upsetting, man. I really wanted to love Shelby Oaks. Chris Stuckman, he's the guy. All right? The fact that he did this is so sick. But I didn't do a full review on this. I did talk about it on the TikTok, and I really stand by what I said on the TikTok, that it just feels like Chris got nervous. This would be the only movie he'd ever get to make. And so anything he ever wanted to see or do in a horror movie, he had to just smush it in here. And by the second half, this movie just becomes a complete mess. I think the setup is very interesting. Really, the only issue in the first half is that it opens on this really well-made, like, fictional in-universe documentary. The only issue is that documentary goes on too long. It's like 10 minutes or so. And it got to the point where, like, I thought most of the movie was going to hold that documentary format because it was really well done. Like, it was interesting. It looked a little bland. I think intentionally it was supposed to look kind of like a mid, like, streaming service documentary, and I think they mimicked that really well. But when it goes on for, like, 10 minutes of your hour and 40-minute movie, it feels like it's too much when that's not the main focus. That would be my, like, one complaint. But once again, that was kind of following the bare bones screenwriting template where the end of the documentary is the movie's inciting incident, and, like, that hit the page requirement for how that's supposed to go perfectly. You're supposed to do the inciting incident latest page 10. So I don't know. It's not like a huge flaw, but in the second half, the mystery is what's weird. It's who took Riley Brennan, and you're following her sister who's looking for Riley. And most of the search is interesting, but once she gets to the prison, I think is what it is, that's where the movie falls off. I think everybody agrees about that because the mystery kind of stops. You see that there's, like, a pure evil guy who was, like, watching and clearly took the sister. It's really just a question of how he did it. And then she basically just stumbles onto her sister. Like, she finds, like, a random woman living in this derelict town, and the woman has her sister. And that's, like, she rescues her sister, and then there's this batshit insane ending scene, and that's kind of it. Like, it really gets real messy. It gets really silly, unfortunately. I saw this with one of the worst, most atrocious theater audiences I've ever had the displeasure of being a part of. Like, people didn't give this movie a chance. After the inciting incident of the guy, like, shooting himself on the porch, all bets were off for this audience. Like, they giggled at, like, whatever the main character's name is, not Riley, I don't know. She would, like, get up from a chair. Literally, like, the scene would be kind of quiet. She would be, like, looking around and realize she has to get up, so she would get up, and my audience would just start giggling, bro. Like, I was like, shut up. Have you never, like, watched a movie before? Do you not know how to compose yourself in a theater? Stop doing that. So they really ruined the movie. I didn't get to give it a fair shake, but trying to be objective, remove myself from that god-awful audience. Yeah, I think this was a rough one, unfortunately. I think this was no bueno. And the issue is that, like, there's clear talent from Chris. I don't know if you can blame this more on the script or his direction, but when shit hits the fan in this movie there's, like, hammering outside. When shit hits the fan in this movie from, like, a horror perspective and it just starts going crazy, I don't know if it's just that he's doing too much that it's silly or the directing's just bad, and there's just too many concepts. There's, like, evil grandma and body takeover and Satan ritual and, like, demon attached to a person, not a place. Like, it's basically just every horror movie you've seen cobbled into a blender, and it's just really messy and unfortunate. So yeah, going one level up from Shelby Oaks, we're making good progress here. We have The Running Man. Oh my god, this hammering is driving me insane. This was super disappointing. One of the more disappointing movies of the year. Probably number 3, mostly just because I waited like 2 or 3 weeks after it came out to be able to see it, and I knew the word of mouth was not great, so I wasn't that let down. Like, I kind of expected it. Man, I was really excited for this. Edgar Wright, this is my favorite director of all time. Baby Driver, flawless. Last Night in Soho, not great. Scott Pilgrim, great. Shaun of the Dead, flawless. Hot Fuzz, flawless. World's End, flawless. This hammering is driving me insane. Between Last Night in Soho and now Running Man, I think he's probably washed. I don't know what happened. I don't know how you go from doing The World's End, any of the Cornetto trilogy, even Baby Driver. Like, Baby Driver is maybe a bit of a step down. It was definitely, like, American, Hollywoodized Edgar Wright, which was totally fine. Like, the movie's still incredible, 5 stars all the way. It's definitely, you can feel the difference. And then Last Night in Soho was like, okay, he wants to try his hand at horror. He didn't really do a great job. That's all right. Hopefully he pivots back to, like, slick action. And you'd think with The Running Man, especially with Glenn Powell, like, that's a great actor to pair with him. But, like, no, this movie's ass. Not ass. It's ass. It was bad. I was really mad in the theater. I can't lie. I don't know why I gave this 2.5 stars. It's because it's not that bad, but it's so bad at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same thing where, like, the script is, like, the story is fine. There's just... someone made this breakdown that I thought was a great way to summarize my issues with the movie. It's that when characters have an argument, it's supposed to be like imagine like a UFC fight. Like you gotta, each side's got to get some jabs in, got to take some heavy blows, and got to recover and get their own punches in to keep it interesting. You can't have one guy just wailing on the other out of the gate and then have the other guy wail back on him. Like that's not interesting to watch. And so he showed, I don't know what the other movie example was. It was like some great, drama movie everybody loves, like kind of a classic example. He showed a scene from that and explained how it's like punches going back and forth being exchanged. And then he showed a scene from The Running Man towards the end where Glenn Powell like essentially kidnaps this woman, and he basically just berates her for being like a consumerist and thinking that the Running Man show is good and that Glenn Powell's evil. And then she just yells back at him for like 30 seconds. And then that's it. They've like found their common ground and they level off. And it's like, wow, that sucked. Like that was not an interesting way to do that at all, because there's no conflict there. It's basically like, you're stupid and you're wrong. And then she turns around, she's like, I'm not stupid. This is why I believe what I believe, and you're wrong. And then they're both like, okay, I guess we're both a little wrong. There's a lot of stuff like that in this movie where it's just the least interesting way of doing what it's trying to do. The final fight on the plane specifically felt like the Russo brothers directed it, which, coming from Edgar Wright, the sauciest motherfucker on the planet. Have you seen Baby Driver? This movie is just pure sauce. It is dripping with buffalo. I don't know what the. And then I still remember, like, it's just the directing in this movie is really bland. The camera work is like really. He kind of just whips it a little bit. Like, it feels like Edgar Wright. We have Edgar Wright at home. A little bit of Walmart Edgar Wright. Coleman Domingo though is, oh my god, he was so good in this movie. Like, the scenes with him and like Josh Brolin were kind of embarrassing because he's just doing such an absurdly good, like, he is in character. He feels like a real Edgar Wright type character. And then Josh Brolin's just like, I'm gonna make everybody hate Glenn Powell, and then I'm gonna fucking kill him. And it's just like, it's so lame, man. The dialogue in this movie, really every word of dialogue is so on the nose. Goo goo gaga, saying exactly how you feel and why, with no nuance or depth to any of these characters. That's really the issue. Really disappointing overall. Not a very interesting story. Bad dialogue, meh action, meh characters. Like, does not feel like an Edgar Wright movie in the slightest. My goat may be washed. Step up from The Running Man, out of the 2.5 star range and up to the 3 star range. This is I liked it. It was solid. Good movie. Would watch it again. Minecraft. Excuse me? Okay. A Minecraft movie. I'm really not going to bother reviewing this one. You all saw it. You all have your thoughts on it. It's not good, but like, similar to the Electric State, like, people act like this movie is dog shit, and the only reason anyone watched it is because, Minecraft. Yeah, they're thinking back on it, they are actually correct. I don't know where I was going with that. I was about to disagree, and then I thought about like any scene from this movie, and like, yeah, this movie's really bad. It looks really bad. Like, pretty much anything people said about it is accurate. But at the end of the day, this is kind of like a toned down Five Nights at Freddy's movie, where like Five Nights at Freddy's 2 realistically is like a 1 star movie, but I got like 5 stars of enjoyment out of it. A Minecraft movie is like a 2 star movie that I got like 4 stars of enjoyment out of. Like, having Steve dive off of a mountain and then scream slime block and then throw down a slime block and bounce off of it, like, holy cinema. Okay, I'm not gonna argue and say that wasn't fucking hilarious and amazing to watch. I think the 2 star movie, 4 star enjoyment is really the only way to sum this up. So I kind of just averaged it at 3 stars. Like, I would watch this again, not like because I'm really in the mood for a great movie, more like I would, toss it on in the background and watch a couple of specific scenes. And there really is just kind of the awe of the fact that we have this huge budget Minecraft movie. It's just, I don't know why they wouldn't animate it. Like, there's already so much CGI that doesn't look particularly good. Like, people love the Elemental animation art style, and even like the Minecraft Caves trailer, like the style that they animate the trailers in, I feel like people would probably show up to watch a movie that maybe amp it up a little bit more, but like I don't think people would be that upset if generally the movie kind of looked like this. Like I said, just kind of amp up the textures a little bit better lighting. Like this looks pretty great. So the fact that they went with whatever the fuck this art style was, I don't know. Got to have Jack Black and Jason Momoa's face there. And it's just weird that there's like 5 main characters when like these two, I guess really these 3 are the only ones that ever do anything, and the other 2 are just kind of there. Really awkward. What's up, Seth? How you doing, bro? Merry Christmas. I'm reviewing every movie I saw in 2025, all 37 of them, and giving my ranking. So we're all the way up to a Minecraft movie, so we have a good few out of the way. What is that, 10, 12, 14? So we're 14 movies down. One step up from the mind. This is a crazy leap in quality, I have to say. The bar between like there's some big leaps in quality here. I think these are pretty gradually like getting better, but between a Minecraft movie and Black Phone 2 is a pretty huge leap. This was another one. I watched it right after Shelby Oaks, and once again, the theater audience completely ruined this movie to the point where like I couldn't even hear a lot of the dialogue because people just wouldn't shut the fuck up. I mean, we literally had a dude plug his phone into an outlet under the screen and like stand up, block the screen, and like scroll on Twitter. And I was just like, dude, holy shit, this is not your living room, man. There's a group of like 12, 13-year-old boys in this theater. This is a rated R movie. They're not allowed to be in there. And like, I wasn't going to report them, but people kept kicking them out of their seats because these kids didn't buy tickets and they snuck in. They kept stealing people's seats. And the theater attendant, they were being so loud. And the theater attendant came in and was like, I know you guys didn't buy tickets. Don't make me come back in here. And then that did nothing. They were still loud and disruptive. And a bunch of people reported them and the theater didn't do anything about it. It was fucking ridiculous. I remember the audience more than I remember the movie, which I don't think is a good sign. There were a few scenes that I thought were pretty good. I think the gimmick of when, what's his name, Finney? Yeah, Finney's sister, when Gwen is like in the dream sequence fighting the grabber, that's a big portion of the movie. The like Super 8 style film, almost like Sinister Home Movie style, was interesting at first. It adds an air of creepiness to it. It reminded me a lot of like the Stranger Things 2 sequences of Will seeing the Mind Flayer and being chased by him, but like more 80s pure horror than kind of like sci-fi thriller that Stranger Things goes for. It's just they do it so many times it kind of loses its luster as the movie goes on. I think Finney himself is actually doing a pretty great job. The actor, Mason Thames, he was pretty good too. Ethan Hawke is doing a really good job here. There's a actual really good plot twist towards the end where they reveal that the grabber actually has like long-term history with this family. And it's one of those things where like you would have never predicted it because there's just no way. Like it's one of those ones where technically it comes out of nowhere, but it also makes perfect sense. Like there's nothing saying that reveal doesn't work or doesn't make sense or shouldn't be that way. And I thought that was great. I think that's a really smart direction. I actually won't spoil it because this movie's pretty solid. Like if you're in the mood for a good horror movie, especially in the winter, because this is very snow winter themed, I would recommend giving it a watch. What's up, Rachel? And oh man, that is a heck of a username, Schleithrol. How you doing? Thank you for being here. I would honestly recommend it. It's not spectacular, but it is pretty short. There's some good stuff in here. It'll probably hold your attention. Maybe watch it with a friend or two, or just kind of chuck it on and like you can scroll on your phone a little bit if it gets boring. That's all right. No one would blame you. Yeah. If you liked the first, you'll like the second. I actually remember loving the first, so I went back and rewatched it after this one, and it was not as good as I remembered. So I think these are about the same level of quality. So if you did really like the first, you'll probably really like this one too. I think I was more disappointed because I remembered the first being better, and then when I went back, they were about the same. So yeah, that one was pretty solid. Another horror movie, Conjuring Last Rites. I would say this is putting this above Black Phone is a hot take. I think that's pretty fair to say. Black Phone is probably a better movie, but I had a lot of fun with The Conjuring. I went to see this with my other friend Sam, and like we were both really into this movie because it's a mix of like actual good horror movie stuff and so bad it's good horror movie stuff. Like the climax of the movie is basically Patrick Wilson. I mean, this is how all the Conjuring movies end at this point. I have seen all of them now. He just walks around holding the Bible, and it's literally just this. He holds his hand up, and he yells at the demon. He's like, "The power of Christ compels you," and the demon runs away. And it's just it's so silly. I love the idea of taking a horror movie franchise and essentially turning two paranormal investigators into like superheroes that go fight demons all the time, where like she's psychic so she can hunt them down, and he's just the goat so he can like scare them off. Like, it's so silly, and it works really well. And then the only reason this was the case that ended it all is because Ed is old and washed by the end of the movie. It's like he just keeps having heart attacks. And oh my God, Patrick Wilson is so funny in this movie. Like, his character is a big chunk of the so bad that it's good, because he's really hamming it up. He's just playing like a classic dad archetype, like from a sitcom, except if the dad had to like go fight demons on the side, which is a crazy combo. But like, he goes to the doctor, and the doctor's telling him about his heart, and he's like, "You have to be on a low sodium diet." And I still remember Patrick Wilson's face is like, "I just really love my bacon and egg." Like, he just says dumbass shit like that, and it's really funny. Like, in a very enjoyable way, even if I don't know if it was supposed to be funny or just, I don't know. This movie's really funky. But I will say, to this movie's credit, the pacing's a little weird because the horror movie stuff escalates really quickly. Like, the family that's being haunted in this movie gets their shit rocked right off the bat, which I think is great. But it takes over an hour for the Warrens to get involved. Like, I think they show up at the house, and that's like the start of the third act, because there's a pretty good amount going on with the family, but this movie focuses really heavily on like the Warrens' family drama, which I can respect for, like, they want to make these characters as interesting as possible, like 5 or 6 movies deep. Fair enough, but at the same time, it just wasn't super interesting. So yeah, it definitely gets worse as it goes. The ending of the movie with the mirror like floating up and just spinning around really quite fast was like, that was fucking dumb. But yeah, this was like solid. Like, I had a good time with it. It's another one where, like, if you just kind of want to toss on a cheesy horror movie, there's a few good scenes in here. There's a few really gory, violent scenes in here that really caught me off guard. I'll always be a fan of those. So yeah, not super bad. Okay, this is where the list gets difficult. It's kind of starting with Black Phone and going up to about Mickey 17. This is where my list is kind of, I just tossed movies in here because I really don't know what I like above the others. And some of these are really difficult to compare. Like, how am I supposed to be comparing Predator Badlands to Wake Up Dead Man? So we're actually going back down to 2.5 stars. Another one where I'm willing to say this is definitely going to be a hot take to some people. I didn't feel the vibe. The craziest thing to me about this movie, is that most people have said this is the best of the 3 and that Glass Onion is the worst. I'm on the total opposite end of the spectrum. I thought Glass Onion was incredible. 5 stars easy. I watched that movie like 4 times in a row. Ate it up. Thought it was phenomenal. This one didn't feel the vibe.
I have a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
No have a problem.
Okay.
Maybe it is too long in the bedroom. The bed. No
You-
more here?
No.
No have anything?
You can check, but I don't know.
Are you okay? Enter?
Yeah.
Can I enter?
Yeah. Yeah, so what was I gonna say? Like, the characters in Glass Onion I thought were all really, really interesting. Like, all of them being these big celebrities who all do completely different things, like a huge politician, a guy running a tech company, an artist, whatever. Like, I just thought all of them were fascinating. I thought all the performances were so good. I thought the characters in the movie were really boring. Josh Brolin was good. Josh O'Connor was good. And that was it. I didn't like any other. Actually, this woman, I do not remember her name. She was pretty good. She doesn't really do anything. Like, it's a weird setup to have. We just get to meet Josh O'Connor, and then the opening, like, 45 minutes of the movie is Josh O'Connor going around meeting the other characters for, like, 2 to 5 minutes at a time. And none of it was interesting. Like, you get just the bare bones on each of these people, and I just did not care. Like, some of them are moderately interesting, like the sci-fi writer who's gone cuckoo, or the musician who's like has a weird like degenerative disease that they can't quite figure out. Like, it's interesting ideas. It's just they don't do anything in the movie. They're just there the whole time, like not doing anything interesting. And then the mystery itself is, I haven't used this word for Knives Out before, but this one felt really convoluted. Like, the other ones were like twists on twists. Like, I'm not gonna act like they were super simple and straightforward. But when you lay them out flat, like you just kind of say this is what happened, it makes perfect sense. Like, Knives Out 1 is that Ransom switches the bottles, and then Ana de Armas accidentally switches them back. So she thinks that she killed Harlan when she really gave him the right medicine. So Harlan, thinking he's gonna die to try to get her, like to clear her name, essentially uses the knife to stage a murder. So it's like, it's 3 steps, but it's like pretty simple. The second movie, it's a little more complicated than that. It was that like Edward Norton kills Andy. He almost kills Dave Bautista fleeing from the crime scene. Dave Bautista figures out what he did. So Edward Norton kills Dave Bautista and makes it seem like someone was trying to kill him to get the suspicion thrown off of him. Once again, it's a good number of steps, but like it's pretty simple overall. This movie is, when you lay it out flat, it is still really all over the place and kind of complicated. It's like, I think it's that Josh Brolin was drugged, so he passes out, and then once he passes out, Jeremy Renner, the old lady knocks over the cross to make a distraction while Jeremy Renner stabs him in the back, and then they bury, instead of burying him, they bury Thomas Hayden Church. So Thomas Hayden Church emerges from the grave thing, whatever it's called, and then meets Jeremy Renner, who's pretending to be Thomas Hayden Church, and then it gets recorded on camera so people think Josh Brolin rose from the grave. And then they were gonna melt Josh Brolin's body in acid, but then instead there's like 3 other, like, oh my God, this was so complicated for no reason, and you don't find any of this information out in an interesting manner whatsoever. Like, they basically just tell you step by step, like, you're just watching these guys go from plot beat to plot beat with like no real intrigue or building momentum or suspense. And then in like Knives Out fashion, they try to undercut your expectations, where Benoit Blanc's gonna give his big speech where he reveals all, I can't wait to see what he finds out. But instead, you know, the old lady confesses. And I just thought the old lady's confession had like, it just wasn't interesting. Like, Benoit Blanc is such a horrific character. That's a great word there. You just want to see as much of him as possible. Like, he's why we come to these movies. So taking away the best part of these movies for the sake of like switching the audience's expectations, trying to switch the formula up a little bit, just for a character I didn't really care about, to give the ending explanation instead. I don't know, man. Like, overall, nothing that bad, but also really nothing to praise about this movie. I just really was not into it. Kind of unfortunate, pretty disappointing. It's just always weird when something like this happens where everybody was glazing this movie. Like, look at these numbers. Okay, 3 stars is not. That's the, yeah, like these are valid. 4.5 stars, 3.5 stars, 4, 4.5, 3.5, 4, 4. Like, everybody I talked to thought it was pretty great. And like I said, the common ranking I was seeing was this one, classic Knives Out, Glass Onion, and I flipped that 100%. I love Glass Onion, did not vibe with this one. Once again, this is where the rankings get funky, like saying Weapons was better than Wake Up Dead Man. I don't really know. So Weapons, this is in such a weird spot because it's 2.5 stars. I really did not enjoy Weapons for several reasons. This was the most disappointing movie of the year by a wide margin. I was really excited for this. It looked so good. The behind the scenes of like the bidding war over it. I do have a full video, so if you want in-depth thoughts, you can go check that out on the YouTube. But like, the plot summary is that the marketing and the tone that this movie sets up in the first, so the marketing matches the tone of the first act. It's very dark and spooky and mysterious, and as the movie goes on, it gradually gets sillier and sillier until the climax is like pure comedy, like really gruesome, but still comedy. And it was just, I really didn't enjoy that. We all knew this was going to get into supernatural territory. Like, the only way the kids would have escaped was by something supernatural. And the answer being Aunt Gladys. Oh my God, dude. I don't understand what was going on. What had Gladys? Yeah, I know it's pronounced Gladys, but like I don't know what was up with this, where they like wanted to make the villain silly. She's like an unassuming, weird-looking old lady. I mean, she's spooky in the horror scenes where she looks like this, I guess, when you get jump scared by that face. But like, I really don't get it. And when the ending reveal of your horror mystery movie is so bad, it ruins the movie on a scale kind of unlike any other types of bad endings, because you can't even go back and rewatch it. Like, then you go back to the beginning the next time you want to rewatch, and you watch the kids escape, and there's no mystery because you know all the, like, the movie gives you every answer to every possible question, and none of it is interesting. So when you try to go back and rewatch it, it's so lame, and there's just no horror left. And there's like the only stuff that they leave unanswered is stuff that then just feels like a plot hole, like why Aunt Gladys was in people's dreams. Like, she wasn't doing anything to their dreams. She had the stick that could like mind control people, but she didn't use it on Julia Garner or on Josh Brolin, and they were still having nightmares about her anyway. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, I did not like this movie. Zach Krieger is doing a Resident Evil movie now. I don't know. That could be interesting, because I think Resident Evil can have a bit of a campier, sillier tone. This movie just, the decline from like horror to dark comedy did not fuck with that. Even there was a funny joke or two, and then also just the format of going character chapter by character chapter, I didn't like, because then when you lay the story out chronologically, it's really short. Like, because this movie's a mystery, you know, they told the story in a really truncated way to make it seem like there's more going on than there is. Because, like I said, if you put the story in chronological order and not like character chapter, like jumping around in time, there's really not that much that happens. Like, Aunt Gladys shows up. My mom is calling me. Hold on. Hello? Oh, I wasn't getting any texts or anything. Oh, now I just, yeah, I can come get you. Yeah, all right. All right, well, live stream over, unfortunately. All right, we'll come back to this, I guess. Weapons is, I think we're a little more than halfway, almost smack in the middle. So thank you guys very much for watching. Have a great night. Peace out.